31 changes you maybe missed in Minecraft 1.18. With the second half of the Caves and Cliffs update, we've got a huge change to the way that our worlds generate, which means the smaller stuff can go underappreciated. And that's what we're focusing on today. And hey, YouTube bets that you can't subscribe to the channel before this goat hits me off the cliff. So, if you're up to the challenge, headbutt that red sub button below. It's free, and it helps out a ton. Number 1. By this point, we're all familiar with the trick to turn your animals upside down by using a dinner bone name tag. But in this update, that's been tweaked a bit. And now when you feed your flipped over friends, they'll look up at the food instead of down like they used to. Though, the sheep still don't work. Number 2. One of the big changes for Minecraft going forward is parity between how Java and Bedrock generate. So as the two versions get closer and closer, our enchantment tables are doing the same. And now, enchantment tables in the Java version give off a light level of 7, just enough to light up the 15 bookshelves nearby. Number 3. Axolotls marked one of the cuter additions to the 1.17 update. But while that's still true, now they're a bit harder to find. Since in 1.18, these mobs now only spawn in lush cave biomes with stone directly above. And they've got their own mob cap too, so don't expect to see many of these down there anyway. Number 4. For years, the building community has wanted some way to stop plants from growing past a certain point. And fortunately, we can now pull it off in the base game by using shears like so. So if you want your glowberries, kelp, and nether vines to stay that way, this will do the trick. But the regular vines still don't do it, unfortunately. Number 5. One of the long forgotten features of Minecraft was the ability to harm Endermen with splash water bottles. And for several updates now, this has been broken in the code. But from now on, that seems to be fixed. And finally, we can cross one of these nonsensical glitches off of the bug tracker. Number 6. Minecraft has plenty of minor frustrations, and sometimes it's hard to notice them until they happen to you. Like in the past when you would type into bed, only for it to close the chat window once you wake up. And thankfully, that's been rectified for us going forward. Number 7. Villagers aren't the nicest of mobs, clearly. But now they seem to have regained some of their humanity. See, before, they would attack any villager, no holds barred. But here on out, they'll leave the babies be. So if you break their crossbows using this trick, then we can fully pacify them and reintegrate them into society. Number 8. I think we all can agree that more accessibility options are always a good thing, which is why it's a real treat to see that the flashing lights from a lightning storm can now be toggled off like so. And if it lets me build a machine like this without the headache that comes with, that's definitely a plus. Number 9. The crafting recipe book is a great resource to have, but while it's useful here, it hasn't always been the best implemented. And you'd see as much if you had a potion effect since it was usually hidden behind. But now we see these effects along the right side of the screen, and we can even hover over them to see the time remaining. Number 10. Leading mobs around can be something of a grueling task, and unless you've got a lot of slime and string, it's not easy to do in bulk. So thankfully, little changes like this can lighten the load, since now your horses, mules, and donkeys will follow you around when you're holding a golden carrot or a golden apple. And side note, you should definitely pick the cheaper one. Number 11. Every now and then, Mojang adds in a feature without properly implementing it, and these neglected bits can usually lie dormant in the game's code. But at least for the Deep Warm Ocean, that's finally changed, so now this biome will generate through natural means. So if you're sick of the coral and pickles, I guess here you go. Number 12. Minecraft's clouds don't get a lot of love, and by this point, many of us have turned them off in the settings. But part of that is because these exist so low within the world. And thankfully, along with the new height to our worlds, these now can float at a Y level of 192 instead of 128 like before. Number 13. For anyone interested in achievement hunting, then a new update brings along a new checklist. And this one's no different, but this might be the strangest option yet. See, if you were to bring a villager up to the new world height and then make a trade, you'll get the Star Trader achievement to now show off. If you want to, I guess. Number 14. Minecraft's loot tables can sometimes be a letdown, and I'm sure plenty can relate to exploring a desert temple only to find a bunch of rotten flesh. But now it seems that our buried treasure might have gotten a boost, as water-breathing potions will now spawn inside, which should make the next treasure chest even easier to grab. Number 15. While everyone likes to talk about all the new stuff that we got with a new release, there's also plenty that's been removed. So I'm sorry to let you know that in 1.18, Mojang actually removed 34 biomes from the game. But rest assured, that's only because these sub-biomes only existed for the old generation to work. And nowadays with the new one, they're unnecessary. Number 16. Brightness plays a critical role in the game's atmosphere, which is why it's always struck me as weird that the developer set the slider by default to the lowest setting of moody. It's like when you subscribe to a channel for notifications on all uploads, but then YouTube still asks you to ring the bell to actually do that. It makes no sense. Oh, and thanks for subscribing, by the way. But now it seems that Mojang's changed their ways, as now when you start up Minecraft, the brightness will now default to 50 instead. Number 17. Drowned are famous for prowling around the various rivers that we've got on the surface. but you're less likely to see some of these in the caves below. At least, you wouldn't until now. But with the addition of aquifers next to dripstone caves, these mobs can now spawn in the underground, giving their zombie cousins a bit of competition. Number 18. Even after a big overhaul like the 1.14 texture update, there's still plenty of tweaks to be made to Minecraft's design. So with each update, you're sure to see a couple of sprites get a subtle change. And here that lands to item frames, as now these will have a birch-colored frame to match their in-world model. Number 19. With the Village and Pillage update, our world's got a big population boost. And in Mojang's eyes, it seems like that boost was a bit too much, since now these villages will spawn less frequently and more spaced out than before. Which is a shame for your iron farm, but it'll make the next one you find a lot more special. Number 20. If you've ever gone exploring in the ocean blue, you've probably felt the current of one of these. And those magma blocks have played a big part in giving us, and our boats, a tough time. But that's only going to get more common, as now more of these are set to spawn in the ocean, for what that's worth. Number 21. As advertised, the 1.18 update brings a big change to how our worlds generate, but one of the sneakier changes is the way that bedrock layers now work. See, in the past, these layers remain consistent in all worlds, regardless of your seed, but now it's set to randomize just like any other block would generate. Number 22. Using the right tool to break a block is usually straightforward, but what's weirder is when certain blocks don't require a tool at all, and for a time the conduit was in that category, though from this point they can only be broken with a pickaxe, which I think makes sense anyhow. Number 23. Now I'll admit sometimes Mojang makes a change that I can't wrap my head around, and this time that would have to be the redesigns to the campfire sprites, since now these are made to have a shorter flame than before, and that's it. And personally, I'd still prefer if they took after vanilla tweaks and made them animated instead. Number 24. Some changes might be hard to notice until you take that closer look, like this change to the way that chunks render. Now they work in something of a cylinder pattern instead of the square one from before, and hopefully, even if it is hard to notice, it should help make the game run that little bit smoother. Number 25. When you look through the changes in an update, a lot of it reads as cleanup, which makes sense since it'd be tough to do everything in one go. So even though we got our big texture update back in 1.14, it's still taken until now for the Wither's skull texture to reflect those changes. But hey, from now on, it's fixed. Number 26. Okay, let's play a game of Spot the Difference. Looking at these two comparators, one in 1.17 and the other in 1.18, which is the recent version. Well, zoomed out like this, it's hard to tell, but with a closer look, now we can see that the powered comparator in 1.18 got some red pixels added to the texture. Number 27. Some mistakes are so obscure that it's hard to notice even when they're pointed out to you. But sure enough, the armor and weaponsmith variants of the zombie villagers had a mistake on their textures, and this was likely due to reusing the villager textures and missing a few pixels here and there. But nowadays, that's no more. Number 28. Unless you've got a drowned farm, it's tough to get a bunch of copper to your name, so any change to the ores would be a huge help. And they did just that in 1.18, as we can now get anywhere from 2 to 5 raw copper from an ore instead of the 2 to 3 from the past. Number 29. Nobody likes going slow, and even less like to be slowed down. So for that reason, it would always be a pain if you would brush up against a wall and then you'd stop sprinting. But from now on, don't sweat it, as now small angles like this will let you sprint just the same and finish up the parkour just as planned. Number 30. Privacy is a hot topic these days, and for some players, it's the most important thing. So to abide by that, Mojang's got you covered. See this option labeled Allow Server Listings? Well, toggle that, and now you won't show up when someone checks the server, and that'll let you enjoy the game all without being swarmed by your adoring fans. Number 31. Sometimes it's the little tweaks that answer the community's prayers, and this fits that list. See, at 1.18, when you enter the sound settings, it's now as simple as choosing an output device for the game's sounds. And while that can clearly help us on the recording side, it's also a quality of life feature for the rest of us to use. And with that, folks, enjoy 1.18 and have a good one, alright?